I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding from the words I spit. So sharp, so freezing, so cold. Behold, frostbite they feeling. I could tear you apart or I could go heal them. Don't believe in fate, don't believe in ceilings. I just need a taste and my mind starts peeling. I don't pace myself, I grind on kneeling. Got lust for change, I just love the feeling. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. And I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. Cause I'ma live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I don't lie at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll soon be winning. I live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I don't lie at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll soon be winning. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mr. Riley coming to you live from the West Coast, the best coast, the West Side. Hopefully, you're hearing me fine. Man, we've been over here messing around, trying to make sure all the audio is good. And matter of fact, let me check my YouTube channel just to make sure that we are good and the audio is coming through nice and clear. And let's see. Okay, there we go. All righty. So welcome to the show, guys. Man, it's been a crazy, crazy week in football. You see me rocking my New Mexico jersey because my boys from the Lobos from New Mexico, they just put it on UCLA. So much so that the coach got fired. Man, what's up with that? It was a good game, at least for the Lobos anyway. So, yeah, just repping. And there's something else that phenomenally happened on Friday night, too. And I'm sure Coach is with me, so we're going to add him to the mix. And then, tonight we're going to also talk about everything that happened during the game, and we're going to try to preview the game against ECR, my former high school class of 1986. There you go. The Conquistadors, as they used to be called. I'm not too sure what they're called now. I think the Braves or something else, some whack name. But whatever the case is, we're just going to go ahead and welcome Coach Smith to the show. Coach Smith, are you there?
I'm here. Thanks for having me.
Man, I know we normally go live on Monday night, but you had some pressing, you had to handle some family matters or some football matters. So thank you for hopping on tonight, Wednesday, on This Week in Pali Football. So appreciate you, man.
Well, to be honest, we don't get very many Monday night football games. So I was actually watching the regular game. Although it wasn't a very good game to watch, but I don't know what Monday night football again, so I had to watch it.
Man, listen,
I apologize for moving it for the Raiders.
See, that's what you get. That's what you get. No, it's all good. Trust me. I'm a Cowboys fan, and I know we get a lot of games, but I totally understand, because if it was a Monday night game, I'd be like, hey, Coach, check it out. We might have to do a rain check. We might have to do another night. So it's all good, Coach. Not a big deal.
Well, thank you, I appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So check this out, man. You had a wonderful game against Brentwood. I wasn't there to see all the stuff, but I was following. I think it was your game that I was watching. I think UCLA, and so I was out at my nephew's game watching his team, and I was just keeping abreast of what UCLA and New Mexico, and of course Pali and Brentwood. Man, off the bat, off the rip, how does it feel to kind of defeat your mentor in the way that you did this past Friday night?
like monkey off my back. It was 2 years in a row. Excuse me. That we had lost. Both games were close. My first year, we had them up 4-7, I believe, at halftime. They came back and beat us. And then last year was a close game, lost in overtime. 2 missed field goals, and that last second touchdown that wasn't actually a touchdown. So it was two heartbreaking losses. So just to get this win, not just for myself against the other coach, Jake, but just for the kids and all the Pali students who have friends over there. And it's a big rivalry game over the last couple of years. So just for everybody to have this win was special.
It sounds good, Coach. So Amber Martin is watching, and she says there's a terrible echo. So Amber, if you can you do me a favor? I'm going to mute myself when Coach is speaking, and just let me know if that kind of solves the problem, because we definitely don't want to hear that echo. But so let's go ahead and hop in with the interview, man. So you defeated your mentor. I think the final score was, and I'm sure you know, Coach.
49-34. Never forget it.
Yes, 49-34, and he had a wonderful game. I was kind of looking over some of the stats, and so let's just kind of talk about the boys and how well they did on quarter by quarter, if we will. Let me just get the box score, and I can put you on the screen as well. Okay, so she says it's all fixed. Okay, I think I know what the issue is. Amber, thank you for chiming in. All righty. So I have you on Max Preps, and let's see if we can check out the box score from that particular game, okay? So there we go. All righty. So it looks like it was, you guys were on all cylinders from the very beginning, scoring 21 points as opposed to 7 in the first half. I know this is a kind of ridiculous question, but how did you guys do that? What did your defense do that was different from last week? And then what did your offense do that was a little bit different from last week as well?
Defensively, we just put more guys on the field. We had Damari, Harrison, and King going both ways. Not just it wasn't a matter of we didn't think the defense could do anything. We just wanted as many people on the field to stop their throwing. We knew Ben could throw the ball pretty well, so we wanted to give him different looks, different people out there on the field. We still struggled a little bit stopping the run. They ran pretty good on us in the third quarter, second and third quarter. So we're still struggling with that area of defense. But I thought our pass defense did really well. Tavian had a huge game. Somebody that doesn't really get a lot of recognition. He had a huge stop on a 2-point conversion. They were about to tie the game at 36, I believe. 36. So he had a big tackle that really changed the momentum of the game, and then we were able to score 2 more touchdowns after that, a pick six, and then a third down score. So I thought our secondary played really well this past Friday. And then offensively, I thought we struggled at times. It wasn't, it's weird to say that because we still scored 35 points, but, Jack only threw for 197 yards and he still had, I think, 4 touchdowns, which is crazy to say. I still feel like our offense wasn't clicking for most of the game, but we made the plays at the times we needed. We didn't have the long drives at certain times that I wanted, but when we needed to make a play, we made a play on offense.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling, and during the course of the game, I was again keeping score, and I was like, okay, Pally's on top at halftime. I'm like, good, and then all of a sudden I check in the third quarter. I'm like, wait a minute, this is gonna be a game after all. But then looking at Max Prep's their feed, I did see number 8, DeMar. I saw he had a couple of big pick sixes, and that was huge because you did say last week. That you're going to play some players, have some players go both ways on offense and defense. So just to see those, I think was it 2 or 3 interceptions that he had.
He had 3. He actually had 2. He had 2. One got called back for a hold, so he would have had 2 pick sixes, but he ended up having 3 interceptions overall.
Yeah, I was like, uh oh. I was like, oh, this is gonna be another nail biter, But again, just checking the score as it was being played in real time, I was like, okay, they actually pulled it out. What was the one play that you would say on one or two plays on offense that you would say really helped, the boys with their confidence in terms of knowing that they could actually defeat Brentwood, knowing that the past couple of years we were right there on the cusp of winning, but this year, they were able to pull it out. What play or plays do you think kind of contributed to the overall win for the Pally boys this past Friday?
I thought our
I thought
offense
our
was a
off-
little bit more. Sorry, I thought our offense was a little bit more balanced. I thought we ran the ball well. Harrison and Devron got more carries, and when we got down into the red zone, we were able to punch it in with our run game. So I think it kind of helped them, keep them on their toes a little bit, or actually on their heels, backing up because I think their game plan going in was to try to stop the pass as much as possible. So me and Jack all week just said, hey, if they show too high safety, let's just run the ball, and I think we were able to do that. Our line blocked really well. So I think we have more of a balanced attack Friday than we did the first couple of weeks. So we're just gonna that was a focus again this week is try to be as balanced as possible. Run the ball when we're supposed to, pass when we can. Just keep them guessing as much as possible. And if the defense is guessing and we're trying to keep the tempo up a little bit more, we're gonna be hard to stop.
Yeah, I was just surprised. Again, I found what I was looking for. DeMar Dezern having three interceptions, and then 125 yards just on defense. Which is crazy, right? I mean, because that hasn't happened. I don't think in a number of years. At least I can't remember a player having three interceptions, running for 125 yards like that. So definitely a game changer. And speaking of Jack, 125 yards or whatever the amount was, that is really unheard of. And I'm glad to hear that Devron and Harrison really carried the load, pun intended, with their time running with the ball. So my question is, and then also because we talked a little bit about offense, defense, and special teams. I noticed based on our conversation last week, I noticed there was a change. And so, can you talk about that change that happened on special teams in terms of being able to get those PATs?
Yeah, so we
Yeah, so we
got a yeah, we got a
yeah, we
kicker,
got a
Connor Sports, from the soccer team, and he came out wanted to help us kick, and all practice, we were
nailing
our PATs, and I was a little concerned to see how he was going to do in the game situation with a rush, but he nailed every kick. I think one was blocked, which I was told is not if it's blocked. If it's blocked, it's nine times out of ten not your fault. But no, he was very poised. He kicked well. Kick off to punch. Kick. Most of where I wanted him to kick. So, just proud of him. Having the football game in a huge rivalry game. It's not easy to step on the field and do that, and a lot of people don't want to make mistakes. When he did get that kick blocked, I could just see it in his face and his eyes that he was really upset. I just told him, "Hey, calm down. It's not your fault. You'll get another chance." And he put it behind him, and he kicked well after that. So, it's a huge help that we don't have to go for two every single time because you don't want to play catch up all game trying to go for two. It's not even though I feel confident in our offense. It's not guaranteed that you're going to get it two every time. So, having that kicker really helps. But Grayson also did a fantastic job kicking for us. It's not hard to snap the ball with the offense we run, do kickoff, do punt, run down the field, and then turn around and kick a PAT. So, he was tired. He came up to me. He's like, thank you for getting a kicker. I was exhausted. And so, I had confidence in Grayson, but, just having Grayson be able to take a break for our offense, Carter really stepped up and helped.
Okay, that's super. That's super dope. And I'm gonna switch the scene again because Amber Martin says the Echo Monster is back again. So
I can't hear you.
Okay, so
There
let
you
me
go.
tell
There
you
you go.
why.
All right.
Let me tell you what's happening. So I was on a coaching call a little bit earlier, and so I just decided to, since I'm home, instead of going into my studio, just to try to, in a pinch, put everything together in about 15 minutes. And so didn't have time to run over to the studio like I normally do. So it might be kind of quirky, but hopefully by next time, if I decide to go live from home, we'll have all the kinks worked out. So I apologize if there's an echo in some of the scenes that we have, but it is what it is. Okay, so hopefully, Amber, let me know if the echo is, if you don't hear the echo in this particular scene. This is my shared screen scene right here. So if it's not an echo, we'll keep it right here for the rest of the show. And yeah, we'll just rock and roll like that. Okay, so 49, and you said the final score was 49-34, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And I know you guys were celebratory. I know everyone was happy, just like last week when we defeated Granada Hills. Or which defeat would you say is a little bit more better? The kids enjoyed a little bit better this one or last week against Granada Hills?
Definitely Brentwood.
Okay.
Yeah. Granada Hills, we last year, so I think it was a little different. But losing to Brentwood the way we did the last 2 years, and then there's a lot of there's a lot of kids on our team that have friends at Brentwood. There's a few one player was on that team last year, so it was special for him, and just be able to beat always beating your friend, is much more special. I told the coaches at Brentwood, I said, I love you guys, but for 3 hours, I'm gonna hate you, and then we go back to being friends afterwards. So it's just that type of rivalry, and yeah, this one was definitely more special.
Now coming up, we have, and we can, before we move on, let's kind of go through a little bit some of the stats real quick and highlight. So again, the final score is 49-34. Brentwood decided to score 27 points in the third and fourth quarter. So again, I guess for me, just looking at that defense, it has to kind of step up a little bit better. And then we were able to score 7 points in the third quarter, but then overall 21 points over in the fourth quarter. So I'm sure it was an exciting game, like Amber said a few moments ago. Wish I could have been there, but we'll definitely be there this week against El Camino Real. So you see some of the total plays and the breakdowns: 58 for us, 66 for Brentwood first downs, almost kind of even, 19-23. Penalties kind of even as well, but then the penalty yards, we kind of doubled them up. 82-74. Time of possession, they had 7 more minutes with the ball than we did. And if you look at some of the offensive playing stats, you talked about Jack Thomas having 197. I think earlier I said 120 something. Let me give my boy credit. 197 yards and still 3 touchdowns. That's a lot still. For a high school football game. Longest was 42. And then you see Ben, doing his thing, 213. Still not too far off for us in terms of yardage. And then you see all the rushing. Looked like he had a ton of folks who are rushing. Jack Thomas got 67. Harrison Carter, 59. But he carried the ball 14 times. So, yeah, it looked like it was a wonderful game. And I'm glad the boys were able to prevail over the Eagles over there at Brentwood. And then you see some of the stats. They're not going to be as beautiful as they were last week. But, hey, a win is a win. King Demetrius, 2 touchdowns. Malachi Ross. And you know what? I have to say, I love the way Malachi Ross is playing. I mean, his older brother played. Can you talk about that little, well, I don't say little dude, but about how he stepped up playing two years on JV and being able to be a contributor as a junior on this varsity football team?
I'm super proud of Malachi. His work ethic amazing. Summer. He's been out every single day. Even though he was hurt, he wasn't back, and He's just, I mean, his route running, his speed, he can catch the ball. It just adds another dimension to our offense. And honestly, he could have played varsity last year. We just had some guys that I wanted him to be on the field and not be on the sideline because we were loaded last year as well. But he stepped up. He took the outside position from one of summer or even spring, and he hasn't let nobody been able to take it from him. So. Just his attitude overall. I really can't say that, but I'm so happy to see where he was last year. Not just on the field, but off the field. How fast he's going to show off the field. He's only a junior, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do there. He should be getting offers pretty soon because he's a great player.
Man, we reading minds. We vibing today, Coach. We vibing today. Because here's my next question, man, or my next statement. How did we get the number 3 athlete in the 2027 class, Coach? How did that happen?
The number three athlete in the wait a minute. My years. I'm sorry. I'm like, man, isn't that senior year?
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm talking about DeMar DeServe.
Yeah. Him and Jack were friends, and they thought it all season. So when the last coaching staff left at his old school, he wanted to change, and he wanted to play with Jack. So that's how he came over.
Okay, so Amber says that Malachi is a silent weapon. Coach, can you hear me right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Amber, does that change anything? Because she says that the echo is still there, and I'm still trying to get rid of it. So let me know, Amber. And I know there's a latency, a delay in the time that I ask a question. So it's usually about 20 seconds. So let me know, Amber, if there's still an echo before we go any further. Because I don't like echoes. But yeah, I was really surprised to see that he committed, to OU. I was like, oh, okay, we got that kind of dude. We got that kind of, a cat on the roster. And, I like what I see. So I think it's super. Okay, she says it's good. Okay, I think it's super nice that you got those, I'm thinking about next year. You got a 1-2, who could, who are nice with their feet and even nicer with their hands. So that's going to be super nice next year with Malachi and DeMar DeServe on, playing receiver for the Dolphins.
Yep.
All right, so let's move on. And we got this upcoming. Oh, we didn't talk about our defense. So let me go over here real quick and see. We got a whole bunch of people that who has tackles, and so. I'm looking for a person who really stands out, like a Cash Allen from last year or a Jake Tribatch. Who would be your person on the defensive side of the ball who would be kind of early categorized as that guy?
Honestly, it's really early. Everybody's playing as a team. We have leaders on our team. Augie's playing really well at defensive end. Right now, Nico is playing really well at linebacker. Enzo's playing really well too. But I think the main guy is Skyler right now. He has the most tackles on the team, and every time I'm on the headset on the game, I hear great tackle, Skyler, or great job, Skyler. If I'm not closely watching the defense, I always hear his name. So I think overall right now, Skyler Walters is playing really well, making tackles and getting his head in every play. So he's out in coverage. He's making tackles. So really, really good to see him kind of step up this year.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the defensive tackles, and you have several guys who, this past game, they had, no one had double-digit tackles, but you had a whole bunch of guys. I mean, total tackles for last Friday's game was 105. And normally, when I'm going through the box score, it's maybe one kid who had maybe 9 tackles, and you have a whole bunch who had maybe 7 or 8. But man, I think I've already counted at least three students who have 9 tackles by themselves in this past game. So, like Nico, like you said, I think Skyler was one of the Enzo Allen, Skyler, and he have a ton of guys with 8 tackles. You got Tavian, you got Wilson Turner, and I think I saw somebody else down here at the bottom that had 8. So yeah, Michael Tobin. So you got a whole bunch of guys who are like kind of fighting. It's like, look, you go ahead and get 8. I'm gonna get 9, and I might even get. So that's a good balance to see on the tackles. And hopefully it'll continue. Like you said, it's kind of early, but hopefully the tackling spree will continue on defense, where these guys are just getting close to double digits on defense. So that's a pretty good thing. And shout out to the defense. Hopefully they can continue with that for the rest of the season.
Right.
And the good thing, Coach, how do you feel? I think in some of the polls right now or rankings, you guys are ranked number 3 in the city. If that's true, how do you feel about being ranked number 8? Oh, I'm sorry, being ranked number 3 so early in the season.
To be perfectly honest, I don't look at the rankings at all. It's good, but at some point we're going to have to play every team in the top 8. So whether we're number 1 or number 8, we're going to have to go through all those teams in the top 8. So I personally just want to be playing our best ball during the playoff time. We're going to have to go through those top 3 teams, whether we're ranked 3 or whether we're ranked 8. We'll just, it'll be early in the playoffs or later in the playoffs, but we got to play all those teams. So as long as we're playing well come playoff time and we're playing our best ball, doesn't matter who we play or where we're ranked, we still got to play the playoffs. So, there's no buys in the playoffs. So it's not like we get a, first round bye and we have 2 home games. We gotta play every single round. So, it's nice to be ranked. I don't know how high we've ever been ranked in our history, but, obviously it's good to be ranked high. I never look at it week to week. It's somebody, it's a lot of people's opinions. Sometimes we play well, we won, and we get ranked. We get lower ranked. Sometimes we don't play well, or we don't play, and we move up. So it's just people's opinions. And again, I just want to play well when the playoffs come.
Yeah, that's the best thing. That's when you want to peak during the playoffs, and so you want to get all your losing. If you decide to lose, if you want to lose during the non-league and league. Win all the way like we did last year and get all the way to the championship. And so, speaking of which, we got another game coming up against El Camino Real. And as I said at the top of the show, that is my alma mater, class of 1986. Go Conquistadors. I'm not too sure what they're called right now. I know the district has, or different schools have kind of changed the name of their mascot. I think they might be the Royals or something. Not too sure. To me, they're the Conquistadors, and so I'm happy to be there this coming Friday. So let's go ahead and see if we can preview the game just a little bit. So we got the matchup right here. It says game preview. We know the game is going down on the road. Hopefully it's not going to be as hot like it normally is in the Valley. In fact, I think the next couple of days they said it's supposed to rain, so we'll see. It's California, so things can change in a hot second, right? But let's preview the game, of course. Tickets can be purchased on GoFan. And all right. So they're 2-2. We're 3-1. And you're probably asking why the difference. Well,
3-0.
Yeah, we're 3-0. They're 2-2. I'm sorry about that. So they've only played one more game than us. But at the end, like Coach said, we're gonna run straight through our season because our bye week was at the very top because Diamond League canceled on us. Okay, with all that said, let's see if we can go through the overall record. You see what it is. We're 3-0. The team scoring averages. Now, if this is okay, so they don't have any quarter averages. They just have the final score, 48-19. On paper, okay, that's one area we. On paper we won. But you know this all too well, especially watching the Raiders this past Monday. Subtle jab. Anything can happen because you still got to play the game, right, Coach?
Right, exactly.
Okay. So here we go. El Camino, if we're looking at rushing per game, right? On that stat line, they have more 131 to our 74. Yards passing, ain't nobody beating Jack. Jack has an arm. We got some receivers. So last week, 200 yards. That was all right. That was an off day. We know he gonna get his right. Receiving, you see that? Look at that, 331 total yards per game. Ain't nobody doing 400. What do you think about this stat, Coach? 405 yards total yards per game for Pally.
Passing or
Well,
total?
it just says
Total.
total yards.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and like I said, I mean, and there's times that we've left points on the board and yards on the board where we missed, we had drops or we had missed open guys. So, I mean, that number should actually be a little higher than that. But I can't complain. We're 3-0. What I like is that we have room for improvement and we know what we can do, what we need to do, and the guys understand that we can be better than what we've been. So that number can go up in the next couple of weeks. So as long as we continue to work hard and practice fast and keep our tempo up, that number should go up a little bit more.
Yeah. And so here's the discrepancy that I have sometimes with Max Preps because sometimes the numbers don't match. Okay. So if you're looking at tackles per game, okay, now that's supposing that El Camino put in all their tackles and it looks like we're averaging about 100, over 100, 111 tackles per game, which is super nice, right? But then going back to points per game, here it says for us 32, for them 8 points, but at the very top of the stat line here, I think I showed it where it said we average 48 and then they average 19. So sometimes Max Preps is not that accurate. So that's my only discrepancy about kind of trying to use this as like like it's really real. Sometimes the stats are kind of skewed a little bit. And then of course you see the yards rushing per game. Harrison has to have more than 30 yards rushing per game. What do you
He
think about
didn't
that,
have that
Coach?
very many the first two games, so that's probably
Okay,
about right. Yeah.
okay.
I
And
like to
then
see that. I like to see that tackle number go down. And that's a lot of plays, tackles
it
per game
is.
on defense. If we can get the offense off the field and three and out, a little bit more three and outs, and maybe one or two first downs per drive, that'll help us defensively.
Yeah, especially the first two games. I mean, we were trying to stop the run against Harvard Westlake and, against um, Granada Hills. Everything was a run, so they did not pass that entire time. So of course, we're gonna have a whole bunch of tackles, and I would be anxious to see what the tackles were for that particular game as well, because I know there were quite a few tackles, and so you see the rest of the stats right there. So what about your chances, Coach? How do you feel about your team being prepared to do what they need to do, come out with a victory this coming Friday against the Royals or the Conquistadors, whatever they're called this week?
They're the Royals. Yeah, I feel good. They're not a team that does anything too wild. They have their defense and they run it well. They don't hit you with a lot of stunts or blitzes. They stay in their defense. They perfect it. They get to their spots, and it's just our job to find the holes in the space to let our playmakers make plays. So um, I do expect us to put up big numbers. Not saying I'm overlooking them, but I think if we run our offense the way we're supposed to, and the way they run their defense, we should be able to move the ball pretty well. And like I said, put up numbers defensively as well. We should be able to put pressure on their quarterback. They have a really good running back that we really need to stop. He's going to be their main guy. So we really need to, and we haven't stopped the run very well all year. So we really have to put our focus on this running back, or else they're going to run up and down the field on us again. So if we can do those two things, I think we should be able to have an easy game.
Yeah, I mean, even if the boys step up like they did last week and get those tackles, try to stop as many runs as they can. I'm not too sure. Well, it looks like they passed as well. They're averaging 154 yards, in the air. So hopefully, with the combination, the defensive side of DeMar DeZern can show up and get some ints, and the boys can make some stops trying to stop their main running threat. So that's super super nice. Man, I think that's so you kind of like your chances, right, Coach?
Yeah, I never go into a game, cocky or overconfident.
Yeah,
I just feel like if we do our job, we should be able to win this game. But you never know. We're battling some injuries on the O line this week. So if we have to overcome that, and if we can do that, we should be fine. But I'm not saying it's going to be an easy game. Like I said, we're battling injuries, so we're probably going to struggle at times. But I like our chances with our team.
yeah. I like our chances too, and like I said, I'm gonna be on the sidelines doing my thing. Um, you know, uh, Now let me ask you a question. Last week was was it press infested like it was against the Granada Hills game? I mean, and I mean that in a good way, because speaking about press, the L.A. Times ran an article, and I think you posted or someone posted on one of the social media outlets. So was it a lot of press last week against Brentwood, or was it kind of moderate like it normally is?
No, it was a lot more tamer. The Granada Hills, we had NFL films, we had a lot of cameras. Fox News was there at that game, so it was a lot of press. This one was just our normal
Low
camera
key,
camera
yeah,
crew, yeah,
yeah.
minus you there. Yeah, it was a lot more tamer, but there's a lot of fans there. So Brentwood, it's not a lot of stands, so everybody's on the track and kind of close to the field. Yeah, exactly. So it felt like a little bit more because of the tightness of it, but
Yeah.
as far as the cameras and the crew, it was a lot less that last Friday.
Yeah, and I think sometimes the kids might, sometimes the kids might vibe off of them. Like, oh, okay, let me get some shine. Let me do my thing. We got some camera, we got lights, camera, action. Let me turn it on, and then when it's not as busy like it was this past Friday night, the kids are kind of let down their guard a little bit. But I don't think so. I think they really played. Like you said, they had a little struggle in the second half, allowing Brentwood to score 27 points. But at the end of the game, we came out with the most points, and that's probably the best thing for us. But I do want to get your impressions on the LA Times article. Now, was it a front page article that the program was in?
Yeah, so Daniel Miller, who he's been following the team since I believe March. So each every couple months he's put out an article or a video about the team, and um, he wanted to end it with our first home game, and so he put out this, beautiful article about the team and the progress over the summer, and he had it. It was online, and then I wasn't expecting it. And then Sunday morning, I woke up to a text saying that we were on the front page of LA Times. So, that's a huge, huge thing for the program, and you have to be doing something special to be on on the front page of LA Times. So,
Doing something good and special.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, obviously, unfortunately, we get more exposure because of what happened, but
Yeah.
um, you know, like I said, he put out a great article, and these kids deserve everything they're getting. They've been the most patient group of kids I've ever been around. Not a single kid has complained about anything, and we've been moving around from field to field, and they just want to come to practice and practice hard and get better each day. So whatever comes to them, they deserve.
Yeah, and I really like the online version because it had clips of certain segments from the summer,
Yep.
and I think on the video on the online version it showed maybe about 12 to 15, 16 kids working out. And for me, I was just kind of touched, like, okay, these folks came out and, despite what happened, they're still dedicated to the program, really wanted to develop themselves, and and I like what you said. They're not complaining; they're just coming out trying to work their tail off so that they can be the best football, program in the city, in the area. And I think they're doing that. They're proving a lot of people wrong, and I like the way that they are consistently showing up and doing what they're doing. Right now, they're 3-0, and so again, I can actually, Coach, I can tip my hat. I can tip my hat, right? Because you're doing what you need to do. I know there's still struggles in terms of moving pieces, in terms of play, practice fields, and things of that nature. But man, you guys are doing an excellent job making sure the boys have what they need wherever they are. And so I know you guys were at UCLA. You're trying to move around to other places, and so, man, just keep on keeping on, man. My word of encouragement: just keep on keeping on. We're there to support, and yeah, just do your thing, Coach. Do your
Appreciate
thing.
it. Thank you. Yeah, even the coaches, I've got to give props to them too. It's not easy for them. All of our cars are our offices right now, and they're bringing equipment, and we have parents taking water bottles and kids taking water jugs home and other equipment. So it's not just me. It's a village right now that we've all trying to help and make this thing go as best as we can.
Yeah, I was creating a banner just for my classroom, and so the banner, it's the African proverb that you just mentioned. It takes a village, and so I found a couple of different versions of that quote, and so I like the one that I found today, which says it takes a whole village, and so
Mhm.
definitely, with the Football program, it is taking a whole village to raise up and train up a child, not necessarily in the ways of the world right now, but in terms of being present for football, doing what you guys need to do. So again, tip my hat to you and the rest of the coaches and the parents who are supporting you guys, because yes, you guys are the hardest working football program in the city. And so just keep on doing what you can for the boys, and I'm sure they're going to appreciate everything that you guys do. Man, with
Thank you.
that being said, absolutely. With that being said, Coach, I think we're done. I know I wanted to cover the Times article. I wanted to cover the win. I wanted to cover preview the game. Any last words that you got for our viewers who are out there watching, who watch the YouTube video?
No, I mean, I just like again. Well, one thing, but again, I always say this. I appreciate all the support and help over the past few months. Um, you know, like I said, these parents and all the support people, helping out any way they can and dropping off water bottles to the school and all kind of things. So really appreciate everything. And also, if you know anybody with a field, a football, big enough football field that will, to host us, be greatly appreciated. They can contact me, dsmith at pallyhigh.org. Um, just anybody willing to give us, a football field. The administration's doing the best they can to try to get us fields, and it hasn't been easy. We've been trying to help. We're waiting for other people to give us to go ahead, and we've reached out to a ton of fields, and we're on their waiting list pretty much. So if there's anybody that knows somebody that can bump us ahead and give us a field, that would be awesome. So everybody's doing what they can to try to get us in a spot, so we're not moving around week to week. So again, if anybody knows somebody that can help us out or has it in anywhere, we'll take what we can right now.
Absolutely, man. If I had a field for y'all, y'all would just be on that mug, just doing your thing, man. Not have
Appreciate
Wouldn't
it.
have to worry about anything. Oh, one more thing before I go. Hold on, stand by. Hold on.
All right.
Okay, so because we haven't had a chance to talk since the first game. I don't think this football.
Yes.
I just want to say thank you for having the players. I don't know if you were in on it, but thank you for having the players sign this football. I got to get a nice little box for it, but I appreciate it. And yeah, I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, shout out to Lorenz also who helped put that together, and we want to thank everybody that supported the program, and obviously you've been around for, I don't know how
Oh
many
wow.
years, about 10,
Since,
over 10
yeah,
years, right?
I started was Sir started playing with the team in the 2014 season. So
Okay,
he was a JV player. Yeah.
okay, yeah, 11 years. So now we always want to appreciate you guys, and we like the village. There's a lot of things we can't do without the support. So thanks for having me on each week and letting me say stuff and talk about the program and spending your time coming out every week to film. And I know a lot of people really appreciate that. So, we want to give thanks wherever we can as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I know. I was just real appreciative, and I think I told somebody, my wife was trying to get me on the field. And I'm like, no, I need to stay in the car and charge up my devices. She was like, look, you better get yourself on this field. And I was super mad. I was hot. If you could see the steam coming off my head, I was like, I need to charge my stuff. So, but she was trying to get me to the field to
Right.
surprise me. So that was super nice. So I did apologize and kind of make up for it a little bit. So again, I just appreciate you and I love the Pali football program and yeah, we're gonna continue to do this thing. I will be live this coming Friday, so you guys
Awesome.
can expect me on the field. I'm hanging out with Coach Smith. We're not hanging out, but just walking around on the field, being in the same space, trying to get out of his way as he's coaching. Him and other coaches are doing their best for the boys and making sure they have what they need. Other than that, guys,
And
I think
also,
that's it.
sorry,
Go ahead,
and
Coach.
also Steve Galuzzo too. I mean, he's a pillar in Palisades, and
Man,
everything he's done for me in this program over the years. I mean, there's not enough you can say about Steve as well. So as much love he gives us in the paper, I want to give him the same love here as much as I can. So thanks to Steve
abs-
as well. I
absolutely.
believe he got a football Friday
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah,
We both
yes.
we both got footballs on the same night, so he's super dope, man. I mean, just his
Yep.
football knowledge about Pally in general, and then
Right.
Pally sports. Because he covers it all: football, basketball, baseball, tennis, golf, whatever it is, wrestling. Volleyball, boys. I mean, he just does it all. So he's a super kind person and
Yep.
always available for the boys and girls
Yes.
as it relates to the sports and extracurricular activities at Pally High, and not even at Pally High, dude. I mean, he's just if anything's going down with sports related in the
Right.
Palisades,
Right.
Steve is your dude. He's there.
Yep.
All right, guys. I think that is it. Hopefully, the echo is canceled. It is gone, and I might just have to, if this is well, I might just go live from home instead of going to the studio, which would be super super nice. All right, Coach. On behalf of Coach Smith, I'm Facebook James, coming to you live from the West Coast, the best coast, the West Side. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you Friday, 7 o'clock at El Camino Real in the Valley, and yeah, let's go get win number 4. What you say about that, Coach?
Sounds great.
All right, we appreciate you guys hopping on, and we'll catch you in the next video. All right, thank you for watching. Peace.